Oh, here we go on another episode of Small Talk. We got a jam-packed show for you guys today. Joined by Chris and Badfish as always,
Hey,
and Money Mendez, who will be right back. No,
you want to know
he's back
something
there.
hilarious?
Huh?
Just to start off, apparently Sam was allowed to put the word crackers in the chat, and when I tried to type it in, it said, "This comment has failed to post because it's not allowed." And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's
wow, is
because
it because Sam's a cracker and I'm not? Is that why
well,
it's allowed?
Dang.
it's because you both started doing it at the same time. That's a problem. Yeah.
Oh, they think that a bunch of us are getting together and
The
forming
algorithm.
a group.
Oh my
They definitely don't
God.
want white people forming
Hey,
groups.
I
hate to
am
see it.
half. All right, so
I mean, I can understand that.
All right, sorry.
Well, guys, welcome to Small Talk. Thank you for making us part of your evening, or if you're catching it on the replay, thank you for listening to us on the replay. So, jam-packed show for you today. We got a great show topic from Chris with some photo photography. We're excited about that. It's been a long time coming, and then we got a little bit of hyperspace highlights from all that Black Series and TVC stuff. But we only selected a couple things, and then we got some hot or not towards the end of the show. So a lot of good stuff to look forward to. But Chris, Badfish, Money, how was your week?
I don't know, man. It's not a lot of new stuff for me lately, but it was, and we'll get to it in a little bit, but it was really fun to sort of take some time and figure out what's actually the most fundamental stuff when it comes to toy photography to give people a little bit of a leg up. So excited to get into that a bit later.
How about you, Badfish?
So yeah, I was on the main show on Tuesday.
Yep.
Said at the end of the night, I'm not feeling too great. I was getting chills and stuff. I went to bed, woke up the next morning, felt even worse. Yeah, that day was not good. So I'm back on it today.
After the main show?
Yeah, on Wednesday I was toast. And then most of today up until like 4 p.m. I was like hanging on by a thread, but I had to work. So luckily I work from home, but I was like I work on call for like tech support, and I had to give away my shift on Wednesday, and I felt bad because this guy had backed me up already. So I was like, I have to come in Thursday for him. So I made it though.
My wife works from home as well. Do you feel an extra sense of you need to be there because you work from home? Because there's times where she's like, I feel sick, but I can just be at the computer and just kind of do stuff in the back end. Or is it like, you know what? I still need to treat it like any other job. I don't feel well. I will not be there.
I call in sick way less, but if I need to, I definitely do it. Like if I'm at that point, I probably still should have called in today, but it was fine. I made it. Like I said, I was good once I got rolling, kind of. But yeah, even now I'm a little shaky. I haven't eaten enough. That's the problem. Because I'm trying to like just eat enough. Yeah.
Perfect time to lose weight.
Fuck, man. Needs the opposite almost for me.
Eddie. Man, let me tell you, your little reel that you did on Instagram and Facebook had me cracking up. And it's like I felt it. Like I have no attachment or any true like feelings or knowledge about this in-art Joker, but you made me feel it.
Pause. Yeah.
That was on After Dark, right? You showed that on After Dark, I think.
Yeah, they played the clip on After Dark.
I think yeah.
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm getting a lot of good feedback on that little reel. And I don't know why I don't do more of those, because like often that's how I feel on streams. So I think I'm gonna start doing more of those sarcastic videos, because they get a lot of or at least that one got a lot of good feedback. So I'll start doing more stuff like that. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. You and Zach both said the sigh. You guys felt this.
I did. So, once I heard the sigh, it was like boom, like right here. I was like, dang, he's serious.
Yeah, it's fun. Thanks.
Yeah. My week has been decently chill, which is nice, because last week I didn't feel that well. I felt like I was on the verge of being sick, but it just never happened. And my son didn't feel too good on Thursday, Friday, so he stayed home from school that day, and then by Sunday he was really good. And my wife had her birthday on Saturday, so we went to Austin and she wanted to go to this mountain called Mount Bonnell, and it's the highest point in Austin. She wanted to go walk it. I think she said she's never been. I was like, no, I've been with my ex-girlfriend.
You sound excited.
Thanks for bringing the memories.
Oh, geez.
But the boys enjoyed it. They wanted to climb down all the rocks and stuff, and then we went to go eat at this. This is actually a cool place. It was called Punch Bowl Social, and the way they described it is that it's a main event for adults. So they had bowling, they had shuffleboard, they had cornhole, they had like arcade games and all this other kind of stuff, pool tables and stuff. So it was pretty cool. We hung out there for a while, and then we went to the ice cream museum, and the kids enjoyed that.
Museum.
Yeah, apparently there's a ton of these around the country, and I don't know if it's like a pop-up shop kind of thing, because it's in this like this big fancy part of Austin, and they rented out like a whole building, and the kids loved it, got all the ice cream they wanted, and at the end there's a sprinkle. It's called a sprinkle pool, where these big plastic tubes are in like just a pool, and they hid 3 secret sprinkles that could either get you a free ice cream sundae, or if an adult found it, you can get a shot. So I was like, okay. So I go, Grayson, go jump in there, start finding it. And when we decided to leave, he's like, I didn't find it though. So he's all upset about that. But I'm actually though really excited for next week. I'm doing my first ever like really, I call them premium live events. If you've been following me for a little bit, you know I got back into wrestling. And I'm having my first premium live event at the school where they're going to compete for some championship belts and stuff.
Oh,
so,
wow. That's cool, dude.
So lots to look forward to. But we're here to talk about figures. We're here to talk about photo photography. But before we get there, we are going to do the new pickups, which, Eddie, did you get anything new? I know these guys did it.
Just Hot Toys. No
Just Hot
figures.
Toys?
Yeah.
Humble
that,
flex.
Yeah.
How's that Spider-Man and Stomper working out for
Oh,
you?
damn. I guess those are new. Have I not been on since you sent those to me?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll count those as new. I got the Hydra Stomper Marvel Legend from Sean, and I also got the Amazing Spider-Man SH Figuarts, and I love both of those. Obviously the SH Figuarts is an insane figure. Amazing poses. I think it looks amazing as well. And then the Hydra Stomper is just cool. I want to put it with I thought it'd be decent enough scale to put with like 3-0 figures if I had a whole Iron Man setup, and what are the odds that 3-0 is going to do a Hydra Stomper, right? So I thought it'd be cool to throw that in there with them, and it's decent. I think it's a little smaller, but it kind of it's still bigger than all the other suits, so it works. It's fine. But yeah, I love both of those figures, so appreciate the good deal on that, man.
Yeah, man, anytime.
Now I'm looking for a freaking Ironmonger. I was at Frank and Sons the other weekend, and I saw one there, and I was like, the Marvel Legend one, and I was like, dude, that thing is huge. But they wanted like $80 for it.
That 2-pack is insane.
Yeah, it's a sick 2-pack.
But the figure's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it looked really nice. I'm pretty sure it was the one that came in the 2-pack, but it's cool. I gotta pick that up at some point.
Nice. I got a ton, which is nice because I haven't got very much the last few times we've been on. But I got this the Mewtwo from the, what are they called, the deluxe trainer sets or whatever.
This is from Pal Toys, right?
No,
Not
this is
Pal Toys,
Jazzware.
Pal World. Pal World. It's a Pal World character, I think.
Pal World.
What the hell?
And
is Power?
that's that new what is it, Nintendo Switch game or computer game?
Oh, I did see a video about that.
I saw a guy showing Pal World's like rip off of Mewtwo, and like it looked a lot more metal than this Mewtwo. But I mean, this is a classic design. You know, part of the 150. It's a tasteful choice there, Sean.
Oh yeah.
I've been tempted by this one. I keep seeing it at Target, and I want it to go with the legendary. Are they called legendary dog Pokemon? The
legendary Pokemon. Just the
I guess they announced Entei finally, so
yeah,
they're gonna do the 3, and I'm like, damn! Every time I see Mewtwo, I want it.
I passed on a Suicune, and I didn't realize that Target was doing one of their deals, and then I instantly regretted it. But I'm so on this figure. I really love having it in the collection. But if you kind of see how it's attached to the stand here and is kind of floating. That was the only time I was able to get him into that peg. The hole on his back and the peg don't match really, and it's at an angle. So when you insert the peg, it's like sitting on the side, right? And this was the best I could do to replicate the box art. So I was like, okay, if I can't keep him in the air, at least I'm gonna do this. But if you notice here on the tail, he's held up by that because the legs are so loose, and this is like a general problem.
Oh man,
that he can't stand on his own on top of the tail just being extremely heavy. But I'm glad to have him.
How far across can you get his arms? Did you even try?
Oh, to do the cross? No.
Yeah,
well,
to do like when he's in the.
You could probably do it because
in the
I mean
tube.
they're super. They're like it goes 360 on even the hands and the elbows.
Oh, that'd be dope if you could do the tube pose. But I guess his eyes are closed when he's in the tube. So.
Yeah, well, see, and that's what it was in the box art too. The eyes were closed, and I was like, well, whatever. But I basically got him for free. I got a Target gift card for Christmas that I was been waiting for these guys to come out and find one in the wild, and I finally found one. It was honestly, it was the same day, Chris, you came to San Antonio. We didn't even get to talk about that. We'll cover that here in a second.
Dude,
But
this, okay, but I would like a Mewtwo figure to come with that hardware that Giovanni made him wear for like 5 minutes. That big like metal mask and stuff. That'd be awesome. You know, that movie is
that
pretty hard.
is Mewtwo. That's when he became Mewtwo.
He's just a freak show that Ash sees in the show for like 5 minutes. That was good. I don't know. That was fun.
Dude,
stuff.
if they made all of the clone versions with the stripes and everything and the slightly different colors, I mean, they could do some amazing things with Pokemon, man.
Yeah. I went to Steven's Collectibles to go do some pre-orders on some Mythic Legions, and he still had this it was the very last one of this 330 DLX Mark 46. Arguably my favorite armor. Finally decided to pick him up. Love this thing to death, and now I'm like, now I know why they're making Black Panther. And I'm like, okay, now I want the rest of the team. So this could be a really bad rabbit hole. But Chris, I need your advice on this eventually. I mean, I really try to focus on the lighting, and my lights just were not helping me that day. So, but I do kind of like how some parts are real shiny because of it, and some are kind of dim, like you see in this one, like up here in the corner. It kind of looks cool.
Yeah, man, it's all about position. You know, we're gonna get into it, but you know, this is a nice looking piece.
Oh, it's so awesome, and it's heavy duty. You know, I know Dylan used to talk all the time about it, and now I probably will. But I also picked up from a local collector this the Agent Venom. He's probably my favorite Venom just because he was hanging around the Guardians of the Galaxy for a long time. Flash Thompson, and then this Gundam is the what is it called? The Gundams, not Gundam Spirits, but the toy versions that were at the Targets and Walmarts and stuff. Normally $25-$27, $11 at $11 at Ross, and they had
nice.
Master Gundam from Gundam G Fighter, I think, and I'm waiting for them to do the main Gundam from EZ8, which is where this guy's from. One of my favorite Gundam animes. And then also when I picked up Mewtwo, I found the YWing Gundam Universe. Thanks, Equan. That's what it was. For the Micro Galaxy, I found the YWing. Did not find the N1 yet, but I was glad to have the YWing in the collection since I have the X-Wing. And then this next one is something new, but it's actually going to the school. So during the Royal Rumble, I was looking through Facebook, and one of the WWE ads came up, and it showed the toy version of the World Heavyweight Championship. And I was like, I've been waiting for this for so freaking long. And now at my my PE event that I'm calling it Battlegrounds, the fifth graders who have a different belt will receive this belt instead to trade it in. So
Wow.
that's heading to the school. But that is everything I got.
That That YWing didn't come with that stand, did it? That's an SHF stand?
That's an SHF stand. Yeah.
That looks sick
They
on
should
that
come with
stand.
stands, though.
I
They
know.
really
yeah.
should. I've had to.
It's
Yeah,
really
every
big
one of those.
oversight. Like
Well,
even
and you
those
know, on that deluxe one, on that deluxe Death Star one, they have them now. I think it's that
Even the
one.
Hot Wheel ones come with stands.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The car ships,
Yeah.
that they don't even sell those in Canada anymore. R.I.P. But those were cool. Some of those are the like little die cast Razor Crest and all that.
Yeah.
All right, let's check in with the chat real quick. We got Toy Mafia, Sam Giss, CM Chunk, Absolute Irwin, Money Mendez, 6 Scale Collector, Vintage Rebellion, more Toy Mafia, more Sam Giss. Thank you guys for always being here for us. OG fan when Star Wars was just Star Wars.
guy.
Action Figure Academy, Equan, SpongeBob SquareBalls, Absolute Irwin, and Mark P. What's up, everyone? Thank you guys for being here for us. Super excited about this topic. It's been in the talks with us for quite a bit. Just wasn't sure when we'd be able to do it. And Chris, our collecting hobby, it's not linear, right? It's super dynamic. We got inbox collectors, we got customs, right? We got kit bash guys, we got all these different guys. And I think the most appealing one, at least to me, is photo photography. And we know you dabble pretty well into that. So what do you got?
Yeah, well, it's one of those things where it's a way to sort of stay engaged when you're not buying stuff too, because you can you sort of it's a use case for some of the silly things that we buy that we probably shouldn't sometimes. So like I want to talk a little bit about it because I think there's a lot like you're saying, there's a lot of ways you can sort of stay engaged with the hobby without needing to like pre-order every TVC, for example, because most of them are repacks or not good. So like here just on this opening slide, for example, that the Efont Mon in the background there, that's like a 2004 figure, right? But it looks awesome. And like there's a lot going on here, playing with light. You got the BMF in the background, interior lighting on that sort of. It's we're gonna get into a little bit, but you don't need like big diorama stuff that's in scale with your figures to really sort of cheat a shot. And I want to get into that a little bit too. Like at the end of the day, the figure is the focus, and you sort of just fill in the gaps around that subject, really. Yeah. So the first thing that I think people make a big rookie mistake with when taking pictures of figures is you got to realize that you're looking at a real small object and you want to make it look imposing and like of a good size. And if you're dealing with something that's 3 3/4 or 6 inches tall, you got to get that camera lower. Otherwise, it looks like you just took the picture from where your hands naturally were when you were standing in front of something. You got to think about the angle, and it makes a big difference. It makes it look less like a toy and more intelligently composed, because when people take pictures of other real human beings, they're around the same height. You know what I mean? Like it's just in the realm of possibility. You film close-ups of people talking around eye level, so it just makes sense to sort of place that camera in a position that's relatively logical, as if that were a full-size person. And just further on that subject, it's not that you're never above the subject. For example, we have this piece here has a bit of a vehicle in it, and we got the chief there shooting upwards. It makes sense to be a little wider, and it makes sense to be a little wider and above the vehicle in this situation, because it's motivated by what the character is doing. He's looking up and shooting up, so you're above it. Okay, so we can keep going there. And now here's another thing is I call it a key light. That's sort of that's lighting terminology, but basically if you have a little single light that's sort of a neutral, sort of bright white or warm white color, you want something like that on a little stand that you can move around, that's around the height of your figure but a little taller. And on the first picture there, it's sort of coming from behind the camera. It's not very interesting. On the picture on the second picture there, I've moved the light off to the left, and you're sort of hitting the face at a steeper angle. And a way I like to think about it, and I do the same thing when I light interviews of real human beings. You want the light to sort of just hit the far eye, like you see on the left side how this side of the face is bright there, and the light's just making it to his like cataract over glazed eye there. I feel like that's where you almost always want to put your key light, so it's just barely hitting that second eye, so you have the little spark in the eye, but it's still dynamic, and you're sort of playing with light and shadow on the face.
Yeah, I was gonna say that shadow really makes him look a little bit more menacing, where it's like on that first one right here, you really see just like a toy. Like you see the plastic,
Yeah.
you see, the different color variations of maybe like some mispaint or something like that. Or
And the other
this,
thing you'll notice is that it really brings out the sculpting details in a way that the paint app really doesn't. Like you can see the sort of pensive brow there. Like you see these little lines that you don't see when the lighting's coming from the front. So it's almost like you're giving Hasbro a little more credit for their work than you can by looking at it with a little more flat light. If you just do those first two.
Action Figure Academy says Force Perspective is an option.
Yeah, and
can you
so
expand on that?
yeah, I mean, a good example of that would be, for example, if you get, say, if you wanted to use one of your, what's the Micro Galaxy Squadron. Say if I wanted to put like a Republic gunship in the background behind him, like you could place it like you could place it on something in the background, and then if you get your camera real low, you could have like a ship that's underscaled. Like maybe I could put a 3 3/4 ship behind a 6-inch wrecker, and if it's far enough back and you get the camera really close to the ground, you can't really tell that it's undersized once it's back there. That's an example of forced perspective. Of course, you could have a smaller, you could put a 3 3/4 figure right close to the camera and do it over the shoulder, and you couldn't really tell that it was smaller scale. That's the sort of thing he's talking about. But like I said, if you were gonna put a 3 3/4 vehicle behind a 6-inch figure, you'd want the camera really low. Otherwise, you're gonna be able to tell that the figure is way taller than the vehicle.
And a good example of that would have been like the wasn't that the Galaxy Squadron AT-AT?
Yeah, well, yeah, we got the camera real low for that, but those two vehicles were in scale, so technically that's not forced perspective. Forced perspective's like when they filmed the Lord of the Rings, and they got a Hobbit and Gandalf in the same shot, but Peter Jackson set it up so the Hobbit's real is like farther from camera, so that Gandalf looked bigger than him, but they did it in camera rather than as a composite shot.
I watched that.
Yeah,
like when he's talking to Bilbo in The Hobbit
exactly.
in his house, and on the table, like
the table's jagged.
And they film him from the side, and they're he didn't do any kind of CGI or anything to make him smaller. They just filmed him separately and further away.
Yeah, it's interesting, but to pull stuff like that off, you have to have what you call a really stop down iris, so that there's not much depth of field, because then you can really tell that one object's much closer than the other. That's a little more advanced than we're going to get today, but I think we're going to go through 5 or 6 points here, in this being the second one. And if you just do some of this stuff, you're going to notice a major improvement, I think.
You're not doing these with your phone, are you?
No, this is not my phone, but some of the pictures you'll see in this are phone shots, and I'll point those out when we get to them.
Okay.
But so here, this is another thing that people probably often forget to do and you don't think about. But you can only do this if you have a couple dedicated lights for your shoot, and this can just be a cheap ring light or whatever. But you kill those overhead lights in the room, because they're just messing up the ratio here. So we moved our little key light. We have a little ring light close to him on the side, and that's what we just moved. And now we're turning off the room lights, because those overhead lights in your room, who knows what color they are, and it's unintentional, and it's not part of what you're trying to do here. It's just ambient light that's in the room that you don't need. So when I do this, the room is pretty much blacked out except for the two or three lights I'm putting on the sort of diorama space.
And sometimes the overhead or like the room lighting comes off warmer on the camera than it actually is, or like at least it is on to my eye in person. You know, I notice that a lot.
Yeah, hey, someone's trying to talk to me. But yeah, so we and then in this, can you roll back one there, Sean, for a sec? Yeah, so this is so we're employing a second light here, and so we turned off the room light. It looks a little dark, but then we got a backlight on there. And it sort of rim lights the thing, and you get a little bit of shape, and you see how it highlights the backpack and the back of the head there. It just makes it a little more dynamic, and you sort of see the piece a little better. But
Yeah.
but this is literally just a light you want it a little higher than the figure, and it's counterintuitive if you don't do a lot of lighting, because like you're literally aiming it at the back of the piece away from where the camera is, but you get that sort of rim light effect that really it makes the shape pop, and you see the silhouette a lot better. And here I
like that.
Yeah, it's an RGB light, so I turned it blue. Now, there's a lot of reasons why you could play with the color of any of these lights, but I normally only change the color of the backlight because it's not affecting the color of the skin tone on the character, and you're seeing the correct natural color of the armor or whatever. But with the backlight, you can sort of use that to sort of blend it into a desired environment and make it look like it's a little more in place with the universe or whatever the location the character is supposed to be. In this case, there's no location; it's just black back there. But it just gives it a little bit of color, especially when you have a gray figure on a black backdrop.
You know, Eddie, I've noticed in several of your pictures lately, within the last like few months, you really like to use the different color lights, and I know you typically just use your desk space right there, but
Yeah.
like what's your thought behind all of this?
I'll take all the tips I can get, and I know Chris is really good at taking pictures and photography and stuff, so I'm really learning, but that's why I was asking him about the phone thing, because I don't have a nice camera. I do everything on my iPhone 11,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm trying to learn how to, make the best out of what I got, because I hear a lot, the camera isn't necessarily that important. You could do a lot on your phone that
Yeah.
could still do really good pictures. So that's why I'm more interested in what I can do on my phone. And then, um, yeah, the only reason I do it on my desk is because I have the Govee lights set up around my desk,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really all the RGB lights that I have, because I need to get just portable little lights. Like, I know there's a ton of different options you could get on Amazon. I haven't picked those up yet. So whenever I want one with color in it, I'll take a picture right here on my desk. Or
Yeah.
if I take like the hot toy pictures that I've been taking lately are in my I kind of use my garage shelf as uh, a light box kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing, because it kind of works that way, and I try to take my pictures that way. But I need to get an actual light box.
Yeah, well, if you and that shot I just had up there, it's actually just like a desk lamp that I have a RGB bulb in, so it's just a little taller than the figure there, so it gets over the top of the head.
So I was gonna save this question towards the end, but Chris, if you were to make a list of supplies just for very basic, like intro level photo photography, and still end up with a really great picture, what would you suggest?
Well, one of them is I think Eddie's already doing it, but just get yourself a couple of like black foam boards or whatever it is, so you can put like this is just basic sort of like you could probably find this at like whatever like a Staples or Walmart or like a dollar store, just a black foam board you can sort of put behind there just to cut out some of the chaos, of the environment. And you can use, and it's not just to have it plain. It's like I would start with this as like a base, and then you can add in little diorama pieces, but it just gets the attention sort of focused on the subject rather than what people see, what part of his house or tabletop is he using to shoot this, right?
That's probably a better idea, because the light box, even a cheap one, is like $40 on Amazon, And it like if you want it for Hot Toys, you got to spend more because you need a bigger box, right? Usually like
Yeah.
22 inches or so is like the bigger ones, but
Like those boards in that shot are like 30 by 20 inches, and they're like couple bucks.
yeah, and then you could, if I got them right, I could probably even attach them with magnets or something, so they, whenever you wanted to put them in like a box shape, I could do that. So I might just do that then.
You don't even need the sides really, because you got to place your lights somewhere. Yeah.
That's true too. It's a good idea.
And as far as like lighting goes, then what would you suggest?
Well, I mean, like, you don't, I don't know, if you're into like streaming and stuff, you probably already have some like ring lights or something, but you don't need to go expensive on that. Exactly. Like, I'm sure you can get something like that on Amazon for like really cheap. Of course, you got to be careful. You don't want to go too cheap because that's just falls apart. But yeah, I mean, that's it. The foam board's nice because it holds together and you don't need to tape it up on the wall or anything. You just lean it there and it keeps its shape and it's not flopping all over the place. But yeah, it's and oh yeah, so we're on number 5 here. When I was talking about changing the color of the backlight, here's a good example where it's like motivated by the item rather than the environment. Like, we turn that backlight orange so it looks like the light that's hitting the back of her is coming from the saber, basically. And you pick the color based on something that's happening with the piece, as you can see here. And by the way, Eddie, you're talking about shooting Hot Toys. Like, that's just 2 of those foam boards, and that thing's pretty big, and it's reaching behind all that, and you have some vertical space there, so you can get a lot of coverage for like $5 of material.
You got those at, what did you say, at Home Depot?
That was like, I think it was a Walmart or something like that. It was just like from like a craft section.
I don't know why the hell I never think of that. Like, so easy. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'll probably end up doing that like tomorrow or this weekend.
It takes up a lot of space, but you don't need to leave it set up all the time.
Every time I want to use my top, I use the top shelf on my garage shelf, and every time I want to do it, I have to take all the figures out that are on the top shelf, and then take the pin and put everything back, and I can't really. It's really good lights I have in there, but they're like super bright. Can't change the the dimness or anything like that, so it kind of over blasts light on it, and then I have to end up having to turn the exposure, or not the exposure, the whatever setting that is on my iPhone. I turn it all the way down to like get rid of some of that light, and so
and then here it's a bit orange because I sort of have like an explosion thing going on in the background there, which that little bit of fire back there is actually, I'm pretty sure that was just an iPad where I just Googled like an explosion on a black background, and it's so out of focus that you can't tell there's a screen back there.
Never thought of that either. That is crazy. So you're saying that more than likely behind that is an iPad standing up
yeah, the fire is definitely an iPad, because then because even though it gives it that sort of brightness that you'd expect from a fire, rather than if it was just the sort of colored piece there. And then another thing here is if if you just like, this is just a glass desktop here, but like you get that sort of mirrored effect that if you don't have a cool diorama, it's a glass top with the black backdrop there is always good, because it just looks like a shiny sort of polished like metal or something. It could be a lot of different things, especially if you have a sort of a sci-fi theme like this. It doesn't look out of place. So you could get like a small mirror as well, would do a similar thing. All right, so here's Jar Jar running from a probe droid. This is a phone picture. This is like an old iPhone, but I cut them out. So basically this was the reason I put it in here is because it still has a sort of rim light backlight there, like you can see on Jar Jar's head. But if your scene is supposed to be just sort of outside in the middle of the day, you want both to be the sort of same sort of neutral white color of light. You don't want anything funky going on, because it just doesn't feel right, doesn't make sense. Like, we want to just look like he's outside, right? So it's sort of a bit of soft sunlight there, and this is actually real daylight on the back of them there, because these both have stands, and I just stuck them outside. And then what I ended up doing was cutting out everything in Photoshop and putting the background in there, and then just giving it a little bit of motion blur in Photoshop. But the base photo was just a cell phone snap from like an iPhone 11 or something.
That's sick.
Yeah, and then we're just finishing off this shot of Wrecker here, and I put Tech in the background, and I sort of angled them so his eyes would just be glowing, and he looks crazy back there. And I moved Wrecker's arm up a little bit because it was a little too low to have Tech kneel in there. It was in front of his face, so this is just padding it out a little bit. He's real out of focus, but it just sort of fills out the shot, and it's a subject matter relevant to the primary focus there. And then I also put a little vignette on it, which is just you get a little bit of a black circle around the edges, and that just sort of draws the attention towards the center compared to right before we did that. So like you see up in the top corner on the left, my blue backlight's bleeding into the corner black a little bit on the one over to the other side, and the vignette sort of just calms that light leak down. There's a little bit of a lens flare going on there, so it just brings your attention where it's supposed to be, and makes it a little cleaner back there.
The lens flare, are you talking about his goggles? Or
yeah,
I'm curious about his goggles. How did you say that was done?
It's a reflective paint, and I just turned them until that was sort of peak brightness towards the camera.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's where we started to where we finished with that one example there. And I hate to say I threw that together pretty quick, but I think it illustrates most of the key points. And I might have, I got a few shots later that we can talk about just some applying some larger techniques. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I like to think the way we're sort of approaching it here is like accessible, and you can apply that without. I didn't want to list any specific gear, obviously, because it doesn't really matter. It's all about light position, stuff like that.
And so just going back to that checklist, your phone, work with what you got, find a decent light, Walmart, hobby shops.
Walmart has like these $5 puck lights that comes with like, I think they're like $5, and it comes with like 5 lights, and they're powered by double or AAA batteries. I got these lights on Amazon. They're spotlights that change color. These are a little more expensive. I think these are $20 for a 4-pack. So I got those.
But yeah, like
if you go on
even
Amazon, you could find any of those lights for cheap.
Yep. And even but like for that sort of key light that we were talking about, even just a regular ring light like the one Eddie was showing, like you just want that sort of normal cool white for your key light. And it's also good that it's like the benefit of a ring light that you don't have with those little puck spotlights is just the size of the source is bigger. So like it's it's the light sort of wraps around the figure, and you don't get that sort of soft lighting when you have a tiny source that's like one LED. So like that's the whole purpose of the ring light anyway. It's letting you from like a wider angle than if it was like a single small source like a flashlight, and yeah, it's a little softer effect there. It's good.
And then I guess the last thing would be y'all were talking about foam board, and Eddie, you and Sam Gist were talking about you could possibly even find it at a Dollar Tree.
I wouldn't be surprised. We don't have that one here, I don't think. But yeah,
so
in the Canada.
That's a real easy, simple way to jump into this part of the hobby, I think I don't know. For me, I feel like that's the next step, is I have pretty close to what I want for several of my displays, and now it's time to have fun with it. Not that I haven't been having fun, but just kind of push it a little bit further. We did, or I should say Chris did post a thing on Aux, on Auxiliary of you did a reel, and let's use that for the next week or so to maybe put your own photo photography, pick a figure, and let's use some of these tips that Chris was talking about and see what we come up with. No fun game or crazy antics or anything like that, but let's just have fun with it and post it on that on the comments.
Yeah, you can do that in Aux, or if you're on Instagram, you could just tag us at Small Talk CW on Instagram, and if you, it'd be cool to share some listener photos if you have any.
Yeah,
I'll
and
use
also maybe. Go ahead.
I'll do that this weekend. and I'll Saturday, because Sunday I'm gonna be busy. So either tomorrow or Saturday, I'll go see if I can find some of those boards, because it would be really fun. I just got the accessory pack for the Mark 50,
Mm-hmm.
so I think I'll use that as my opportunity to see if I can do some cool shots and use some of the tips that Chris gave me, and I'll make sure to tag you guys, and I'll pull some inox too, because that's cool. But yeah, that's a good idea.
All right. Chris, I think this might have been my bad, but it looks like we do have a vintage talk.
Oh no, I just had I had a few more slides in there that were examples of toy photography. So
Oh, okay.
here's I just wanted to learning this stuff really it opens up a lot of like interesting interactions you can sort of have within the collecting community. So like this Chrome Razor Crest was put out. This is like a bootleg, like one-off piece that a guy called Has No Talent on Instagram did, and I think he made like, I don't know, like 100 or 200 of these and sold them through his Instagram. And I ordered one of these silly things and did this shot and posted it. And he like reposted it. It went sort of viral. It was cool to sort of get some reach out of something like that. And, this is just, it's a little bit of a wider setup there, but, it's all just, the diorama is just paper. And the inspiration here was just some of those older Kenner vehicle boxes have like a front picture that is pretty much set up like this. So that's what I was looking at.
Chris,
And
we do have one question we should answer really quickly. He said, Sith Scale Collector says, was looking at a Photoshop / Lightroom the other day. Is it worth the investment?
I guess it depends. Like if you're really interested in this stuff and you're gonna like, I'm not talking about you're gonna make money from it, but if you're gonna like make that like you're gonna start a new Instagram page or something and you're gonna really focus on toy photography and you actually get enjoyment out of it, I would say go for it. But the shots I was using for an example today, like the wrecker stuff, like there was almost nothing done to those. It's all sort of in camera. So like if you get these sort of 4 or 5 pointers down, I would sort of play with the stuff we were talking about today and sort of see if you can sort of get to the point where your shots are looking pretty good just right off the bat. And then if you sort of feel, if you decide if you still think you need to do that to have fun with it, because you might be able to accomplish a lot just sort of focusing on the more practical elements of the shot. Because as good as Photoshop is, at least for now, it's not great at fictionally replacing the light positions. It'll get there, but then are you looking at a picture anymore, or are you looking at something that's AI generated? And here's a couple other shots I had. That one on the left went semi Instagram viral as well, like Boba Fett pushing the Mandalorian's car for him. And then this other one was an event poster for like a toy show here in Toronto where we had a Kenner sculptor coming out and he sculpted all the stuff on that poster. And that's all like vintage like 70s and 80s stuff that he sculpted. But and he was like signing the poster, and we used it for like ads and stuff for the show. But that's an example of like a composite shot where it all sort of looks like it fits together because I have sort of the orange and green light over the sides of everything. But that was like, I sort of set up the backdrop like a photo booth, put each item in there, and then I brought those into Photoshop and isolated them so I could sort of reposition them and change the size and make a composition there, because it would be really hard to set all that stuff up and get that sort of even lighting on there. But it all sort of looks like it belongs together because of it all has the light from the same directions in the same color. So it sort of looks like it could all be together.
That's awesome, man. Thank you for all this. It's definitely some good tips for a beginner, for an intro level. Maybe down the line we can advance this conversation a little bit more. I do have one question because this just kind of sticks in the back of my mind. It was one photographer that I was watching because it was like a con, and he was talking about how they invited him to do his own gallery at the con. I don't remember who the artist was, but it was recent.
Yeah, that's the thing. Go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, he uses like fireworks and a blow dryer, and you get these real crazy poses. I'm sure some of it's like Photoshop taking stands here or there out, but a lot of it was wired. It was, like how many frames do you need to like catch that fireworks shot to make it look like an explosion? Like, do you keep the phone on, or I think he was using a phone, or I don't remember, but like you have to keep it going while the firework is going off, or what's the deal there?
Well, there's a lot of ways you can do that. I don't know if you've ever seen you've probably seen like a still photo of a lightning strike in like a Nat Geo or something, right? Like, how is it that guy took a picture of lightning? Well,
At the exact moment.
it's because he didn't, right? What that probably is in most cases is what you call a long exposure, where the camera is collecting light over like 10 seconds or something, and he just keeps doing that till he gets a lightning strike, and then you're none the wiser, right? And they clean up the shot a little bit. So you can do long exposures with like a little string of fireworks or a sparkler too. I don't mess around with that stuff too much. I have here and there, but even if you're using like candles and sparklers and that sort of thing, like safety first. Don't light your table on fire or anything like that. Foam board goes up pretty easy, so I don't know if I want to encourage people to do that. But but even this, like this shot on the left, like that's just a tabletop with I think I have, you might be able to tell because you can see it a little bit in front of the land speeder, but I think that's sandpaper on the ground, so you have a little bit of sparkles as if there's sand there, and then it's just a blue board with some light on it for the sky. So like that's just a relatively small tabletop area
just be
too.
Be creative, give it a shot, give it a try. Worst case is that it's not your best picture and it just doesn't go up.
Yeah, I mean the fireworks thing, I have seen a lot of that. I think that fad has like kind of gone away a little bit, but basically you're playing with the exposure duration, or if you want the look of a fast exposure with a little fireworks, what you're probably doing is setting the camera up so it's doing a burst of shots. I don't think you can really do that with a phone, but you can set up a DSLR so it does like 10 shots like in a second. And then you sort of pick the one that the explosion looks the coolest during. But that's pretty advanced stuff. Yep. Figure out the basics first.
All right, Chris. Well, thank you so much for this. This is very informative, and like I said, check out Ox. Go to that post your pictures with some of these tips that Chris has given, and also tag us on the Instagram too. Go for both of those. And yeah, thank you for that, Chris. We're going to jump straight into hyperspace highlights. So Hasbro did their Black Series TVC stuff, last weekend, I guess, or so, or just a few days ago, something like that. And we just chose a couple that we really felt deserved to be looked at. And I'm sure there's a few others there that could be argued. I saw one or two others that I actually really liked myself. Excuse me. But the first one is the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch Deluxe Droideka Destroyer Droid from the Phantom Menace. This is $33.99 on Hasbro Pulse, due out in July. And I really like this. I think this looks awesome. I have two questions. Is one, I want multiple of these, but how many do you actually need? And then two, it specifically says Phantom Menace. And I don't completely recall the difference from the ones in Phantom Menace versus maybe from Attack of the Clones, or when the big battle happens, all that good stuff. Is there a crazy difference? And if you wanted to replicate it, I mean, or is it even a point? Like maybe you don't even need to make that point, just use it. Especially if we were talking about figure photography, right? And you wanted to kind of mix it up a little bit. But what do you guys think?
I think if you asked me earlier, I would say I would have thought the color on the Phantom Menace version was a little more brown than this. This looks almost purple, but I don't know if it's just this shot. But I don't think there's a massive difference on these guys. Like I know the B1 battle droids, they went from like sort of tan colored to desaturated red in episode 2. But I mean, I think the droidekas are in all 3 movies, because like even in at the opening of Revenge of the Sith, they roll up when the guys get caught in the ray shield on the Separatist ship. So like they make a small appearance, but obviously it's all about episode 1 when these guys like first show up. But oh, there's Badfish. He had to bow out because he's dying.
He's gonna sit the sidelines on this one, guys. Just keep him in your thoughts. He's fighting right now. He's fighting.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I don't think these had a substantial difference across the movies. I mean, it's cool just because Black Series, like, there's a lot of part reuse, less than Marvel Legends, but it's still a lot of part reuse. And this is like obviously a totally new design that they won't be able to reuse in any other way. I think it's cool for that reason. It's going to be a substantial. I think you only need 2 of them, but because I think only 2 show up in most of their appearances. And, let's be reasonable here. Are you going to recreate Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan like defending a door? Are you going to use a whole shelf for these? Probably not. So, you know what I mean? Like, let's not get crazy.
You could
here.
do the what is it? The Gungan battle.
Yeah, I guess they probably show up in there too. I think you see 1 or 2 get comedically killed by Jar Jar. Yeah, that's true. I mean, I like it. I think the gray parts could use a little bit of a black wash or something. They look a little bit plasticky and flat.
You make a great point there. A lot of times these things are rolling. That's like the big part of it. Maybe you can do like do a little bit of battle damage on that.
At least they went far enough to paint the pistons silver there, Chris. So.
Oh, do you see it?
Right
Can you?
here.
Yeah, there's a couple little silver details in there. Yeah.
They give it some effort, right?
Well, I mean, it's supposed to be the ultimate Star Wars figure, and I feel like there was a era where they tried a little harder on their paint apps than they are now. But it's awesome design. It rolls up. I don't know if it actually rolls.
Yeah. No actual animatronics are included on this.
I wonder
exactly.
I wonder how well the legs will hold to stand it. Like, I wonder how easy they're gonna hold.
You think they're gonna slip?
I want to know how tight those joints are.
And it does kind of
like,
look. I don't know. Maybe it's just the
level,
shot.
Like it
maybe
won't
it's just
be
the
up
shot,
on
but it
one
looks
leg
kind
or
of
the other
off
leg.
placed a little bit. Like this, like that right leg looks like it's super stretched out, while the other one's kind of close in, and I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
I like it. I might get 2. I'll definitely get 1.
What do you think, Eddie? And then how many do you need?
How many do I need? I still haven't decided if I want to go back into Black Series. I had a ton of clones at one point, and then I had a couple Mandos, and I still have my Jar Jar. I'm not selling the Jar Jar. I love Jar Jar too much, and Hot Toys hasn't helped me out at all there, so I kept Jar Jar. But yeah, I definitely am tempted by it. I want it, and I don't know if I'd get it if Hot Toys even did it. So maybe I'll go back into Black Series for some of these things, because these are really cool, man. If you're a prequel fan, this is a big part of prequels and Clone Wars. So
I think it's an easy buy at 1. But
at 1.
But buying 2.
How much is it? Did it say?
These are $33.99 on Pulse. So that means
it'll be 50 in Canada, yeah. 50 Canadian dollars.
Without thinking of the price, I landed on 3. But I would agree with Chris on 2, and like his point of, they really only came with like 2 to like really make any kind of difference in the battle.
They couldn't throw in a little half dome of like the force field
like the force field.
Yeah, like a
who did that? Mezco with Sue Storm.
Yeah, like that.
Something like that, or even
you could use that one, I guess.
I think
I think the problem with that is, though, unless it was like super thin, it's really going to visually obscure the thing. You know what I mean?
That's true. It would have to be painted very clear with just a highlight of blue around the edge.
But you only need a little piece of it. So like the only part of the force field that was ever showing was the part getting hit. So even if it was more visible, you would still have the other side of it that completely cleared.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be cool, but like, you can imagine like a few materials that would look really good, but plastic is not really one of them. And they don't make stuff thin because they don't want stuff to like break in shipping. I don't know. I like the idea of it. I don't think in practice there's any way Hasbro could do that where it actually looks good.
When you can hear a picture, I can hear this picture.
God.
Yeah, just the rolling sound of death from
These
Battlefront
guys-
2. Yeah,
These guys were super annoying. I used to play
In
this
the game?
Phantom Menace game, back
The
in the day, and these
PlayStation.
guys were annoying.
did you hear that? Did you hear that's on PS5 now? Like the original
What?
original PlayStation
Dude, I
Phantom
need to
Menace.
get
Dude,
Oh,
it just got
man.
released like a couple days ago on
The-
PS5.
The only thing that I would want them to change, and they've done it more recently, is the Jedi's actually being able to clash with the lightsabers. Because on PlayStation, you were just swinging at each other. You were fighting Darth Maul, and you just swing and hitting each other. No blocking needed.
Are you sure you're not talking about Jedi Power Battles, Sean? That's a different PlayStation
No,
1.
definitely not.
There was
Alright.
definitely blocking when I played. I
Really?
remember
Okay,
there
then
was
maybe I
blocking.
just was just gung
Well,
ho about.
there's only the one lightsaber fight in the game, or two, I guess. Yeah, but no, that episode 1 game, like, it's off the rails. Like, weird stuff happens in it, like weird dialogue options. Like, Mos Espa is full of offensive Easter eggs. Anyways, yeah, but check that game out. But if you have a PS5, it's if you can handle going back to 1999 and finishing a game. But I don't know if the youth can look at those graphics without melting.
And look at that box art. That's actually a cool concept. I hope it looks as big as it is, but then it's also kind of a waste of space too. So
Yeah, I think they want to make it look like a deluxe, even though it probably wouldn't take up any more space than a normal figure in a box.
These aren't those. That's not exclusive anywhere, right? Just wherever I want to
the
find it.
link that I went to was straight to Hasbro Pulse, so I am honestly not sure. I would hope not. I mean,
Damn it! All right.
all right. So the only other hyperspace highlight we have is the Star Wars Vintage Collection Sabine Ren and Chopper for $50, due out in October of this year. Pre-orders start on February 14th. February 14th. I'm guessing it's kind of like a 2-pack. I mean, yeah, it says it's a concluded this way is what it is.
Yeah, it's
That's
the
at
same
least how I
as
took it.
yeah, it's the same as the Revan that came with HK-47, and they did 2 Ewoks like that, and a couple of the retro collections as well.
This almost looks better than the Black Series version.
Yeah, well, this is I mean, I don't know, I hear Black Series fans being triggered as you say that, but yeah, it definitely does. Like this is I mean, the Chopper is pretty close to the one that just came out on the Ahsoka card. I think the paint deco is a little different because this is supposed to be like season 4 of Rebels versus the Ahsoka show, and I think some of the panels are a little different color here or there on Chopper. And then the Sabine, it's hard for me to tell if they're trying to lean into the look of the actress from the Ahsoka show or not, but technically it's not. It's based on the Rebels season 4, and it's funny seeing her. All I think about is how big the helmet was on the Ahsoka version, because the Ahsoka one's the one that came with that giant dome that everybody's making fun of. That was like Black Series sized, and they figured it out. I can't tell if this is a swappable head or if her hair actually fits under that helmet. But
I mean, for 3 3/4, this looks really well. Like, even sometimes you could see some of the janky parts on some of these on some of these figures, and I think this looks really. I mean, everything that's going on with all the different colors, all her different little pouches and her belt and things like that, and even on the knees, she has those big boots that kind of flare out. I don't know, and Chopper looks really good. And you had mentioned that these were those the paint was it the art from the Ghost?
Yeah, the art. Yeah, the card art matches the 4 that are coming with the Ghost. So it's like the mural from the end of season 4 of Rebels.
And like we said before, it is a 2-pack, and they got that
Look
cool
at
box
that.
that they've been doing.
They got the HasLab Ghost in the picture there, as if you could ever hold it up and fly
another
through the sky.
example of photo photography here.
Force Perspective.
Yeah, there you go.
So did they say they were doing all of them released singly on that card art?
No, these are just the ones to sort of complete your HasLab that aren't coming with the HasLab.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but I mean, you'll get them with a different card. They'll probably release them without the mural card, the ones that come with the HasLab. because that's what they've done every other time. They give it a different card back, change the accessories a little bit.
Do you think
I don't. I think you'll get all those figures.
You think they released this one outside of that to make people buy this and then want to?
Then you need the other 4 guys when they come out. Yeah. No, exactly. I think you'll get some version of all 4 that come with the Ghost for sure on a different card back. That's just what they did every other time. Like, they even said with the Razor Crest that, oh man, this Mandalorian's exclusive because he's got a soft goods cape, because you need that for him to sit in the Razor Crest. But then, like, I think 2 have come out with a soft goods cape since then. You know, one was in that like big Moff Gideon set where that came with Grogu with handcuffs on. That one had a soft goods cape, and then the one there's one that's I guess the one that came out alongside the N1 would have a soft goods cape too. So, you know, that stuff eventually comes out. The Jawa that came with the Razor Crest came out with different accessories at regular retail, for example.
All right, guys, we are right at the 1 hour mark, and we're going to get into some hot or not. And we are going to start off with the 112 Collective Robin Golden Age Edition. This is going to be $90. It's currently on pre-order. Let me see. I'm pretty sure this thing's going to still be on pre-order. Yeah, it's not waitlisted yet. But this is going to be $90, due out June to August 2024. Kind of rounding out the few figures that they've already done for this, and I don't like it. I'm just not a this kind of Robin fan at all. What do you guys think? I mean, of course it comes jam packed with all the effect pieces and things like that, but I don't know. Those look at these knees and the elbows, and not feeling it.
I'm gonna say hot just because bring back the golden age, man. I want weird 30s, 40s Batman, like having like strange adventures. But you know, look at, he's got like Aquaman texture on the trousers there. I don't know. At least they don't look like tidy whities. They like padded him out a little bit, you know. But he's ultimately not wearing pants. But I don't know. I just like, I think it's a cool representation of that sort of not tied to a somewhat contemporary comic book. I forget what the Batman looked like, if they've even done it yet.
Yeah, they did. They did him with they did Two-Face too, I think.
Okay.
It's the thing that I was like thinking about when I saw it is how much it reminds me of Batman Forever in the beginning, when he's actually part of the Five Graysons.
The circus costume.
How like they tried to pay homage to that 60s Robin, and so I was like, I wonder if I get this, if I can somehow put the McFarlane head on this body and have like a, you know, that very first look from the circus. And then I was like, that's a lot of money to spend just to see if that even works, and it probably won't look as good as I think.
Okay,
so.
There's the Batman. Cool.
The Batman's really cool too.
Yeah, it has a, you know, it's like it's a little taste of it's a little bit in the Adam West and Burt Ward direction, but the color. But I mean, you know, the original. I don't know how, like, the earliest Batman comics, I'm pretty ignorant about. I don't even know if they were like at what point they became color, or if they were from the beginning. But it's they started really okay, even in the late 30s, eh?
Well,
that's cool.
Yeah, at least what I'm thinking in my head of like the first appearance of Batman, it was in color.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I don't know.
Before that, it was like newspaper, like comedy clips, and maybe that kind of stuff.
Okay,
was in black and white.
Right.
What was the Dick Tracy villain that Mezco did?
Oh, he has a really funny name.
They're all mutants. I don't know.
The one with the big head.
Yeah,
like, he kind of has like a flat head, right?
I feel like this is what he looked like as a kid.
Because he's got that. Yeah, he kind of
had that
shape.
Right on the top there.
He's got my hair though.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't buy it, but I'm kind of glad it exists, because it's like, I'd be interested in seeing what their like sales data is on something like this. Like, Like, how many people are
I have a
committed
feeling
to?
it'll sell well.
Yeah,
It's like a timed pre-order, right? It's a timed pre-order cutoff. I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was.
It just says, yeah, this is a pre-order. No, this is just June to August.
Oh, so open then. I thought it was timed. Dude, it's crazy to me that people don't like Batman Forever when I feel like, and Batman and Robin, when I feel like all that stuff is paying homage to this, to like 60s Batman, and people always like, I love Adam West. I love the 66 Batman, and it's like, why don't you love Batman and Robin and Batman and Forever then? Because like I feel like all of that stuff is paying homage to all material. That. So
yeah, well, but people are like, oh man, I don't even like Robin. It's like, dude, Robin was invented like 5 minutes after Batman. Like like he's just as old. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not like he was invented for that Burt Ward show. He was in some of those comics early on, but I think the problem is that when you're this age, you sort of grew up with the cultural meme that those two movies are garbage, and it's hard to sort of like reanalyze them from like a blank slate. Most people don't have the ability to do that. You know how some people still think the prequels aren't good? It's like, oh, you just weren't qualified to watch them when you watched them. That's the problem. And you're listening to too many people whispering in your ears. You don't even know how much worse you have it now than when the prequels came out.
That's the funniest part of it is like, they may have been bad back then, but if you look at what you're getting now, it's like, I love them so much more. I can even appreciate some sequel stuff compared to what we're getting now. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
the sequels.
At least in the sequels, at least in the sequels, they didn't do stuff like Obi-Wan trying to hide a little kid under a trench coat while escaping an Imperial base. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't have stuff that was like that batshit insane in the sequels, at least. But rewatch. The point is rewatch Batman Forever. That's the point. If you haven't,
you finally got a backer.
Yeah,
you finally got a backer money. All right, the next one is the Tekken 8 SH Figuarts Jin Kazama figure and the SH Figuarts Kazuya Mashima figure. These are each going to be 8,800 yen, or about $60 USD. I'm expecting it to be at least a little bit more expensive than that, on like BBTS, places like that, but it's due out in June, and I think these look hot. Just Jin here looks amazing with the jacket and all the colors, the gray, and then it's the classic pose. You know, when you get ready to fight him, really coming out. And here's the other one. These are each going to be 5.9 inches tall. Come with 2 interchangeable portraits, multiple swappable hands, I should say, and paint backdrops of the game. So that back there is what you should be getting. And then you got that little forest background. It looks like he's standing on some water, which is actually kind of cool too. But I'm going hot for all of these. What do you think, Chris?
I'm gonna do the same. I wish we had some shots that better detailed what you're talking about with the backgrounds there, because like, I don't know if it's supposed to be what you're seeing here, but he's definitely like standing on something there. But can you go to the other shot? Like this, the jacket's kind of interesting to me. Like, I would like to see what this looks like in a neutral pose, because that's pretty dynamic, and it's a plastic jacket, and that doesn't look that weird. You know what I mean? Like, is it like 3 pieces or something? It looks like it's split in the bottom there.
And it's not connected at the waist. So you got the top half and the bottom half. And I think that's what makes it. So probably the bottom half is connected to the waist, and you can move it around with that. And
yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah. And look, I mean, it works. You don't question that it looks really awkward and blocky there. So yeah, I'm going hot. I think the paint apps look good. And on the first one, you have like some bare chest under the neck there, and it's sort of, the neck joint doesn't look that weird on the bottom right there. That looks pretty good. It's pretty tight, but you also have that articulation. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
What do you think, Money?
Yeah, I'll say hot too. as in like they're good looking figures, detailed, and obviously Storm makes great articulated figures. I love Storm's articulation, so I'll say hot in that aspect. I don't know the IP at all, like really, so
You don't know Tekken, like the video game?
not really. I was never a big fighting game guy. Like I knew Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, and that's about. And I think the one I played the most was Marvel vs. Capcom, but
Yeah.
I was never.
Those are
big
very
into that
notable
kind of
too.
stuff.
You know, those are.
I've
those
heard of
are-
Tekken, but I'd like out of Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, it's like the least that
My
I know. of,
my only request now is that they make King. If they're gonna do these guys, make King. That would probably be the only thing that would have me pick one of these up, is if he came out. He was always my favorite character. Big like cheetah head and like man body, and
They
it
haven't
was
done
pretty
that,
cool.
or did SHF
I-
do that?
I don't know.
I've seen that character.
This is
for sure.
SHF, so
This is? I thought this
Yeah.
was Storm.
no, this is SH Figuarts.
Oh, wow.
You know what though? I feel like Storm might have done a King. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Okay, so I'm thinking because I've seen him before, so Storm definitely
Yeah.
did. Yeah, Jason.
Jason Nelson here. King was a Storm Collectibles. All right, moving on to the next one. This is the NECA Universal Monster TMNT Ninja Turtle Ultimate Raphael as Wolfman. This is going to be $37 on BBTS. And it's due out in February. And I think I've already seen this kind of popping up in some places. I think I've seen some photos of other online. But I'm going not on this one because while I have been collecting the Universal Monsters times TMNT, I don't need another Raphael monster. They did the Frankenstein with him, and they've already once gone over all the turtles. Give me a different guy. I don't need a Raphael Wolfman. I need a different character Wolfman, because now I'd have two Raphaels. You
Wait,
know?
Well,
who was
how-
Raph? Who was Raph in the line?
The
Oh, Frankenstein. That's right. Why? That's weird.
Yeah, but they want it to be the Turtles, not some third tier villain being the
you
wolf.
Well, they
Right.
haven't done Donnie yet, right?
You got Splinter. You got what's her name? April. She's a bride. And
There's no Bride of the Wolfman.
Bride of Frankenstein.
Yeah, but you can't use her for
but
this.
who
Yeah.
else could have? They've done Casey Jones as he's
They
Phantom of
haven't-
the Opera.
They haven't done Donnie yet.
I think Donnie is
They must have. There's no way
No,
they circled
he's
around.
Invisible Man. Is that Mikey?
No,
No,
Mikey's
'cause
the mummy,
Mikey's the mummy.
and Leo is the hunchback dude.
The Hunchback.
No one. They did Invisible Man. Are you sure?
They're doing Invisible Man.
So maybe Invisible Man is Donnie.
Yeah.
I
Well-
don't remember the Invisible Man. To be honest,
should
I
just
don't- I
give
feel
you-
Like they haven't done that.
They should just give you like all four colors with
Yep.
each of these, because you can't tell the difference anyway.
Oh, okay. Thanks again, Jason.
We got the
Yeah,
real experts in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry guys, we're just the
So this is
sub
the
and
first
talent.
doubled up. I mean, they could have done. They could have done Toka and I guess those are Toka and Razor, but then again, like
Yeah.
he's already a wolf, so I don't know. Yeah, I guess I see your point, but maybe they'll just restart the turtles in all different monsters, and you have like this set of turtles is these monsters,
See,
this set of
but
turtles
my whole
is these
point
monsters.
of getting the turtles, these particular ones, was because I was collecting the black and white monsters that have been coming out, and I was like, oh, this would be a really cool thing to like match up with them and kind of mesh with, and I don't need another Raphael.
Do
But-
they
There it
have
is.
enough monsters to redo all four turtles? Because they haven't done like a Dracula. They haven't done a creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, they have enough then. They'll find one more.
Yeah. So maybe
Yeah.
you'll have your four monsters, and then four more monsters, and a whole set. As long as only one character doesn't get doubles, I think that makes up for that that thinking.
So you think it should stop at Ralph right here? You get the 2 Ralphs, and that's
No,
it.
do the whole 4 turtles in 4 different monsters again, so that way you
Yeah.
don't just have
Okay,
4 monsters and Raph.
I see what you're saying. Leo is creature.
Oh, look at that! It's
So
already
Leo is 2 then. Sean, you
haven't seen-
fucked up, man.
I don't know, man. I don't want to have to pick and choose my monsters. At least with the universal ones, it's like here's another Frankenstein. We'll just push you a play set, not a play set, but you know the the coffins and then the medical bed and all that kind of stuff. But
looks
anyway,
nice though.
Yeah,
I
it
love
does,
Wolf,
it does
man.
look
He's
cool.
my favorite. He's my favorite.
Oh my god, the box
monster, so.
the box photos on these are just off the dang rails. Like the Frankenstein one was so good, and like look at this. It looks like life sized. Like the way the eye light and everything is. Like that's so good.
I like the way they made one of the pommels on his sword there, or whatever those are called. Like I like how he made one of it the wolf for like his cane.
All right, guys, moving on. We have another Godzilla from Godzilla -1/- color limited time exclusive. This is $85 and will be it is orderable until midnight PST on Thursday the 1st. It's limited to 1,500 copies, whichever comes first. So 1,500 copies sold out, or until midnight tonight, which is creeping up really close and due out in September. Let's see if this thing's still available.
Do those legs have any articulation?
Oh, it is sold out.
They don't look like it.
It is sold out. So all 1,500.
Wow, it's sold out. Well, I don't know. Like, just a quick sidebar. Like, I think the whole idea of Godzilla -1 color is a bit stupid. It's like this is already a niche movie. I know it already made well more than its money back, but like trying to get like North American, like Gen Zs to watch a Japanese movie is already enough of an uphill battle. You make it black and white, they're especially not going to go. But yeah, I don't know that I feel like get yourself the color one, because you can always make your Instagram picture black and white and it looks just as good. But yeah, it's original figure's cool, but you're not, you can't, where do you, I feel like this is just, it's like a Hasbro move. It's like a color variant. It's like whatever. Godzilla -1 is awesome, but
I was surprised that it was Super 7.
Oh yeah. Were they not, are they not doing any other Godzillas right now?
They're
I don't
doing
know.
a ton of Godzillas right now, but they don't.
Okay.
I don't know that they've done any color variant ones.
Okay.
But I see what you're saying, but at the same time, Godzilla is known for being black and white, and they love this character so much that I could see why they are going with the black and white, like novelty thing.
Godzilla was black and white for like 2 out of like 40 movies. Like, I guess he's known for it.
Yeah, I
Still love my
mean,
New
he
York,
is.
my New York dinosaur Godzilla.
It's cool, but I think I love the color of Godzilla. Like, I like the highlighted paint from the original one that they did, the gold, and then I love the eyes. The eyes is, when you watch the movie, like when he's chasing the boat and you're zoomed in on his face, like the eyes look so menacing. So for me, I want it in color, but I think, like I said, I think this is more towards like the P-Rocks of the world that are gonna buy every single version of Godzilla that they can get.
Oh yeah, if you're gonna have one, get the color one though.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys, moving on. We have the Marvel Mafex number 131 Iron Man Stealth version. This is going to be $99.99. This is on BBTS pricing, and then it's due out at the end of the year, December 2024. He will include, he's going to be 6.3 inches tall. Iron Man will include interchangeable portraits, multiple interchangeable hands, and a flight blast effect. I'm going hot on this. This has always been one of my favorite Iron Man suits, and this just looks so much better than what the Mezco came out with several years ago. But I'd still like to compare them. I mean, you're getting all look at these the head sculpts, the Iron Man head sculpts. I love all of these. You know, I've never been a really big fan of the pointy nose, but even those look really great. And then you get the feet effects and the 2 blast effects. So I'm not gonna lie, I might have to go pick this up and then also get that Mezco version just to kind of compare the two. But I'm going hot on these. It's definitely one of my favorite Iron Mans. What do you guys think?
Sean, don't you know how uncomfortable that mask was until he made the little nose point? Like, just like you gotta accept that some things are just for ergonomics, you know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't, as a non-Iron Man aficionado, I don't really know what this is, and it is not the right color as far as my peasant knowledge is concerned. So I don't like it. The fire doesn't look bright enough. Why is it dark red fire? It should be like yellow or something. That's all I got. And no, thank you.
Eddie, what do you think, man?
Wow. Chris is in rare form tonight, I think. I like it. I like the colorway. I don't know the story behind the stealth suit. It's his nice night suit, I'm guessing. When he's in dark, so he's wearing a dark suit, so they don't see that bright yellow and red when he's gonna attack his enemies, I guess. But I've always liked the stealth suit. I think it's cool. I'm not a big fan of the old school armor though. Like,
no,
it's not for me. But I'm also a movie guy. I'm not a comic purist, so yeah, you can't go off my thoughts on that kind of stuff.
All right, guys, and the last thing we have is the SH Figuarts, the Flash movie figure. This is going to be 9,900 yen, or about $67 USD, due out in June. The figure is going to stand 5.9 inches tall. The Flash will include a masked portrait with a removable lens, an unmasked portrait, and removable collar piece for the unmasked head sculpt, interchangeable hands, and translucent running effects. I have not seen the movie, and I will not go see the movie just because. But I really actually, it took a second for me to like this, but I like it. I'm going hot. I don't really like the Ezra Miller head sculpt, but I like the lensed version of this Flash. So I'm going hot for not really knowing too much about it, and I really like these effects on it. I think the effects look really good. So I'm going hot.
If you can actually pose it like that without a stand, that's kind of cool.
That is, I can tell you right now, that is not. It's on the heel. Well,
yeah, but maybe
the effect is balanced.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, maybe the effect has like a flat piece on the bottom or something. I don't know, but that's kind of cool. But like, it is of course true that the Flash and Ezra Miller are the least good parts of that movie, and as 60% at least. Like, you know, that's
Normally I'd agree with you, but I feel like he had more depth in this movie. Like the older version one, like he felt different than the young version one. I thought they did a good job of separating. Like he even felt like he was annoying himself. You know, he was like, wow, I really am annoying, you know? And
you know what?
And then the whole thing with his mom, I felt like, you know, people give him a lot of shit, and, you know, maybe rightfully so, because, I don't want to get, you know,
hey,
whatever.
Well, you're already canceled, so.
God damn it, I can't even do that shit. They, I feel, did a really good job acting. Like, you know, say what you will about them, but I feel like they did a really great job with the acting part of it. But, yeah.
Well, whenever I see, you're probably right though. Whenever I see Ezra Miller, my mind just goes straight to the viral videos, you know. But but those great viral videos that Ezra Miller has. But
what?
but you know, you're right. You bring up some good points. But I can't believe you haven't even seen the movie, Sean. That's outrageous. You know,
for the very least, watch it
for
Keaton, man. At the very least, you have.
You know what though? You're right. For Keaton and just for that little appearance, I was like, damn, that is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I have not, I hate to say it, but I just not been into the superhero stuff, especially DC. I've always followed Marvel. I've chosen Marvel, and that's what I've chosen to do.
I guess it's such a Marvel DC movie though. It's like just chaos, random characters, pointless cameos. Like, it's right up Marvel alley.
Yeah, they've definitely. It's that whole Snyder Whedon thing where it was like, we hate Snyder, so we're gonna do the exact opposite of it and do Marvel, and then oh, that did shitty too, so we're gonna go back to Snyder, and then you know what? I don't really know what we're gonna do anymore. But as far as the action figure, that texturing that was all on it makes it look beautiful, and the lenses look like they light up, which in the film they do light up. So it like, I was like, is SH Figuarts doing a light up? Because it looked that way,
Right.
but I guess they're not. But
No.
the texturing makes it look beautiful. It just stands out because it's not on the collar or the helmet or the cowl, whatever. But man, it looks like a beautiful figure. I'm not gonna lie, I like it a lot.
Yeah, it's not bad. But even I mean even Supergirl in the movies not bad, even though all the figures of her look insane. but yeah, it's
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
yeah, that's yeah, definitely check it out, Sean. But yeah, I think that they might be they go overboard on these superhero costume textures. This is more of a like a wide generalization, but they're like, oh man, these cameras are so HD now. Like you can't just have smooth fabric on superheroes. That's madness.
The lining should have like those little pinstripes of gold, should be a little bit brighter because that lit up
Yeah.
in the film, and I feel like that should stand out more. Also, the texturing in the film wasn't like that. It didn't look that textured. It looked smooth, but it did have waves or whatever all that is. I think
Yeah.
it's different things to hold the energy or whatever he puts out into it, but it didn't look like this. But I still like something about it looks very like eye catching and light catching. Like it'll take good pictures, I think.
All right, guys, that is the show for tonight. Good stuff with the photo photography, and then all of these new drops are awesome. The hyperspace highlights, the hot or nots, definitely some things I'm gonna have to pick up and really make some decisions because it's getting a little tight. As big as this room is, it's getting a little bit tight in here. But we would like to thank our three pillars, starting with Ian Seaby, Renee Mendez, Eric Mariscal, Quinn Aguirre, King Louis, Mark Pearson, Paul Schreiber, Equan, Chris Valen, Serena, Ben Thomas, Chris Letty, David Jones, Sam Gist, Staminator, Joel Breda, Thomas Clark, Eric Switzer, Six Gun Figs, Badfish, Get Well Soon Buddy, Toy Cartel, Dan Lee, Deanie Martin, Stephen Krent, Big Fern, Cesar Madokin, Mark Phillips, Lisa Martin Bamonsky, Rick DiGregorio, Ricardo Valdez, Jose CZ, Erwin Azucena, The Illustrious Rayner, Alan Morgan, Takathri Wah, Derek B, Aries Portillo, Alvin J, Eloise Delgado, Jazz Carroll, Joe Ridley, Pablo Meza, D-Rock, Matt Clavenger, Seth Tucker, CC3PO, Scott Smith, Don Maton, Stephen Percha, Sean Usby, Scott Bradley, Steve and Maria Stanley, Eddie Manzanares, Luis Bennett, Chip Perrin, Jimmy Hernandez, Gigi the Judgmental, and Brenton Palmer. Thank you guys so much. And for your January, February benefits, you are going to get the Collector of the Year sticker. And not just the Collector of the Year sticker, the Mark Pearson Collector of the Year sticker. What a sweet angel that man is. And he is now immortalized in the CW history books.
Oh, wow. What a great sticker. It almost looks like a sheriff badge. That's how you should wear it if you get one of those.
And then your February benefit is going to be the Mind Flare web sticker.
It would be cool if they could do that effect, Chris. Like that effect that when you were a kid, if like the, Dare came to talk to you or whatever, and they gave you that shield sticker and it had like funny. That bronzy shine.
You can be a Mark Pearson Collector of the Year.
There you go. You can stop forest fires. Yeah.
Be like Mark Pearson. Stop forest fires. And if you want to become part of the Empire, you could start with the hot seat at $5. You'll get Ox After Dark, Patreon chat, and weekly shout outs. And for $7.50, you get the Oh my God. Sorry. For $7.50, you get the sticker sent straight to your door and exclusive swag from the Collecting Weekly Network and Ox After Dark replays. For $15, you get the certified crispy certificate on first pledge. Figure assistance on Zach. We need to confirm that though still. And then the benefits of the previous tier, international postage, will be charged at cost for the certificate. And then at $25, you can get the What a Guy tier with the Pog Deluxe set on first pledge, double of all the stickers we send, and the previous benefits. International postage above $5 will be charged at cost for the Pogs. Stickers will be sent every other month. And then we have our YouTube members, starting with Absolute Irwin, Alvin J, Andrew Gibo, Benjamin Hansen, Big Ol' Fern, Bob Dylan, CC3PO, Chris V, CT603, DJ, Daminator, Doc Smizzle, Equan, Fat Batman, Garbear. I heard it said differently the other day. Gare Bear?
Yeah, that's probably because it's a Care Bear reference.
Ah, okay. Gare Bear, good old Spotchtica, Gotham Cinnabites, Justin Sports Cards, LV Avenger 702, Mark Pearson, Mike Litteris, Money Mendez, OG Fan, OMFG Rick, 1-6 Figure Focus, Paul Schreiber, Philip the Fool, S Beam, Sam Giss. Thank you, Sam, for being in the chat the whole time. We really appreciate all your input. Scarn Lord, SpongeBob SquareBalls, Sunnyvale Russ, the Ben Thomas Show.
Oh, so you should have stuck to it, man.
I know, right? I don't want to give him that much credit. The Ben Thomas Show. It's too formal for him.
Yeah, it's too upstanding. He didn't invent stuff. It's not like those good Benjamins who invented stuff.
Wow. And then Toy Mafia, thank you for being in the chat as always. And if you want to be a Patreon only, it's 99 cents. You'll get all the loyalty badges, or you can go Peanut Gallery for $2.99. And then all of the shows we have here, Collecting Weekly on Tuesdays, After Dark on Wednesdays. Thursdays is OFAC and Small Talk. You will get them. Well, they've changed. You said they're going once a month, so hopefully next week. I don't know. I'll need to talk to them, see when their next one is. And then, of course, we have Bricks and Brews, Ox Plays, the Mind Flayer series, and Question of the Week on Sundays.
Yeah, well, I know Chinese New Year hit OFAC's content pretty hard last year, so they're just avoiding saying that there's nothing going on. So they think there's not going to be enough to talk about, and they don't have such a wide net as the main show. So it makes sense to me.
There is literally so much to talk about in 1/6
right
now.
Eddie doesn't agree.
Insane.
Oh yeah.
I think they just want an excuse to sit on their lazy asses. But
okay. Well, what we should do is we should do we should do an OFAC stream with Eddie and Chris, and we'll just pretend to know what we're talking about. Well, I guess you would sort of know what you're talking about.
I imagine Ian sitting at home with his little teacup and his little biscuit. And
Small Talk times OFAC.
Chilling.
Yeah, I'll just pretend to know what I'm talking about.
Don't cross the streams.
Who's the biggest fool? The stream. All right, guys. Well, do y'all have any shout outs?
I don't. Not a whole lot for me. Just maybe. We've been posting on there a little bit some of our new pickup shots. Check out Small Talk CW on Instagram. We could use a little more engagement over there. And based on today's topic, if you do any toy photography, or if you try out some of the techniques that we talked about today, I would love to see it. So you can send it to us on Ox on Facebook, or tag us on Instagram. That'd be cool.
We should think about doing a sort of Instagram themed figure photography thing through Small Talk Instagram, and because I've seen other people in the community doing this figure photography thing where it's like every week you pick a new theme, and then you take pictures based off of that theme, and then we all post it on Small Talk. So I'll send you guys my pictures, and then every week we post off of our theme, and we could get chat members involved, or Ox group members involved in it, and we can do a post on Ox here's the theme this week. You send in your pictures on this post, and we'll all do like one big post on the small talk group. That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, it sounds good. But it's one of those things where it's like, the first step is just getting out those foam boards and getting your lights ready. Like once you start doing it, you'll like, once you get over that initial hurdle of like the procrastination of getting the setup going, like I promise, like you're gonna take shots better than anything that you have before. You've got the base knowledge now. You're gonna be happy with the results. Just watch the video back, and we're gonna have a shorter version. Like Sean was saying, I made a reel that just shows that shot of Wrecker going through like these basic steps with some text on the screen there. It's just reminding yourself of a few simple things, and you're gonna have much better shots.
All right, guys. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Eddie for coming in as always. We really appreciate you coming to the show, and it was last minute too. I was meaning to message you earlier in the day, and then just got too busy. So I was like, I need to do this like right now.
I was gonna ask you, so I was like, wow, you must have been reading my mind. I was gonna say send me a link, and I'm glad I could join because, Badfish ended up having to bow out. So
yeah, shout out to Badfish. Get well soon, buddy, and we will see you guys in a couple weeks. And thanks for watching. Bye, guys.